Well, hello once again. This is Friday evening, 2nd of January, the new year, first stream of the year. How are we all? I hope we're all very, very well. Um, Tonight we're just have a bit of a chill out session and have a look into market close, obviously, for today, and have a look at we'll have a look at today. Might have a look at the power hour continuation report. Obviously, the standard power hour breakout report, which we do like. And yeah, we're gonna have a look at a few potential opportunities in the market ending the week. Volume is a bit low today, I think, from what I can see. But yes, we will see what happens. But this is the Edgepool platform. First of all, I've come up with actually remind myself of what the power hour breakup, power hour continuation does. I always get confused by it, but that's just me. I get confused easily. But yeah, you can see the power hour continuation here. I've chosen stock SPY, so asset here. And then SPY, of course, and I've actually done by weekday again, which you can see just above my head there. And what it is basically from the open price. You can see here at the beginning of the day, and that's reflected on this chart as this box. And this is the indicator of market sessions. You can do that with Asia, London, obviously New York, and I forget the other one. But it doesn't matter because we're using New York. So market session open, which would be here, yeah. Well, you can see the line actually. We don't actually need anything else than that. A little dotted line there kind of going through the screen. That is from the market open. And as we enter power hour, which of course I've got the power hour continuation indicator up here for you. So you can see that that white line flowing through the screen there from top to bottom is the start of power hour. We'll get rid of that for context for now. Yeah, so power hour breakup, what you can see here, you can, once you enter power hour, the likelihood is around kind of the red close and the green close in comparison with the market open price. So obviously this is the green close up here and this is the red close. So the likelihood of this particular move of closing red is very high because of the move that we've had down. So if we go back up to the top here, we can see that power hour continuation done by Friday. I've touched by Friday here. Obviously it has 100% closed red. So we're looking at 100% closing below this line here, which looks likely. We've got 25 minutes left in the market, of course, and it looks like it's kind of it's in the middle. So yeah, you can't really. Unless we get another push up like we have just recently, yeah, I'm not too sure that's going to reach this yellow line. But you know, we've seen crazier things. But yeah, looking back at the data, you can see that obviously 93% closed green if it opens green. It says here 3 p.m. I'm interested to see why it says that. Oh, that's 3 p.m. Yeah. Or have I got myself confused again? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll go to power breakout report. That's what I'm most comfortable with. We'll look into that a little bit more a bit later on. But yeah, the reason I wanted to look at that one is because it's slightly different to what we normally look at. But power breakout report, we can see we're going to do the rounds first. So you can see that, you know, in the market session that we have today, we have highs of the day and lows of the day down here. And we're right in the middle. So we're not near either of them. And obviously with the power hour breakout report, we want to be near the lows or near the highs. So what we'll do is we'll scroll through some other assets. Amazon is near the lows. Big drop actually for some reason. I'm not too sure why that is. And you can see we're trading near the lows, but not at the lows. So if the stock was to be around about here, that would be very interesting for an upside move if the data allowed it. So, you know, hypothetically, if Amazon was down here, down there, follow that yellow for now, we would look for an entry, but we would look at the data first. So we go to Amazon here. We're already on power hour breakout report, and then we would look at by weekday because we do like that. That's this sub report here, just above my head. by, I'll show it to you by weekday. There you go. So then you would have the 20% chance that a new low of day was made. So 20% chance that this stock, if it was here, it would come back down. So what you would do is you would enter a long position, potentially, with a nice tight stop loss below the lows of the day, because that's where the data lies. And then upside of, you can go for most recent resistance points, or maybe something a bit more experimental, depending on what kind of move you think can kind of pull off into the close. Or what I like to do is have the initial balance breakout report here, which is the first hour of trading, and then it plots its own lines. So then you could probably come back down to the initial balance breakout bottom line from the opening hour, or kind of bring it up slightly to this line here. But anyway, that's just a hypothetical situation. It's not a real-time situation. So let's go ahead and see if there is a real one. So Alibaba is trading near the top. So then we would look for the the data on the chances of it breaking the highs of the day, which anywhere above this sort of area here. Great move from Alibaba, by the way. What are we on? 6.62%. Not bad at all. So then we would go back to Edgefield, and we would go on to Alibaba. We're already on the weekday section above here. So let's tap on weekday. You can see that there is a 16% chance that a new high of day is made on any Friday in the last 6 months. So there's a 16% chance it goes back above this line. So what you could do is do a bit of extra technical analysis, just have yourself a trend line here. You could even draw a slightly bigger one, something like that. So if you break the trend line, you could enter a trade having your stop loss obviously at the highs of the day. That wouldn't be too bad at all. Like that. Obviously your target would probably be at least this sort of area here, or got some price action around this area as well. But given the way that Barber is trading today, it'd be pretty risky, given how it's pretty much a very positive market mover today. And we'll move on to, okay, here's an interesting one. We've got Nvidia. Where's that candle close? Okay, that's fine. So the lows of the day are here. Tricky, it's kind of trending down. There's no real indicators that I can see on the screen here. I mean, you could say this is a bit of a trend line here potentially, but that's not that concrete. You've got a bit of a trend line retest potentially. That's already taken place. So you could see more upside here, in which case you would look for Nvidia. Obviously all the watch lists are down here on the bottom right hand side. And then what we got here is, again, weekday for Nvidia. We've got some good data. We've got some 12% new highs, which we're not looking at because we're looking at more downside, avoiding more downside. And of course, we've got 8% new lows a day made. So there's 8% chance stock goes down below this level in the next 20 minutes. So you could use that data to place a long trade potentially. And here we go. We've got it here on the screen. Stop loss nice and tight down below the lows of the day. And then you could have a little play with the target price as mentioned before. That looks like a really good spot. Just because you've got really good price action here, and a bit of resistance here and here. But then what I would do on top of that is look at the initial balance breakout report, which is the first hour of trading here in this green box, and then it populates its own separate lines for the day. That's what all these lines are on the screen. And you could use that for potential upside. You could use this line here, which is the initial balance breakout low of the day, set in the first couple of minutes by the looks of it. But you can also bring this up to this line. So that's a potential 2.5 to 1 trade in the last half an hour, which is it's pretty good, not too bad. So that's a good example. Apple's trading near lows-ish, not quite near lows as we would like them to be. Go ahead and get rid of that. Nope, wrong one. That one. But yeah, you can find the link to the platform down below in the description on YouTube, or alternatively, you can have a look on the stream on X. Of course, I'm going to put it in the comments right now for you to have a look at. And of course, that's the wrong button. But of course, if you have any questions on any sort of reports, I will do my best to answer any questions. I have had a play with a lot of different reports, but obviously judging by the time of day that I'm able to trade, it's quite hard to do the kind of earlier reports. But I have dabbled with them in the past, where I've had time here and there, that kind of stuff. They're not too bad. Like gap fill report's quite nice, but maybe we can talk about that some point in the future. Looking forward to we can look at that. Well, I should probably do the normal thing here, and we've got make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube and X, just kind of below my head there. That isn't obvious enough. And I can put this one up on the screen as well, but that really takes up my face. But yeah, find your edge in the market at edgefield.com. The link that I provided is a free trial, I believe. So have your way with it. Okay, so let's have a look what's going on around. We've got Google kind of in between the two lines, the highs of the day and the lows of the day, so we're not interested. Meta, same. Microsoft, kind of pointing down towards the lows of the day, but still not quite close enough. And Tesla doing exactly the same, pretty much. So let's have a look at what SPY is doing coming into the close here. Close of play is this vertical line here. So not far away now. Looks like we're dropping into the close a bit. Might find a bit of support here, judging by the price action and the volume profile here on the right side. So you might find a bit of support there, or could just dump. We had a bit of a dump on the last day of the year, which makes sense. People tax loss harvesting and stuff like that. So it's always a tricky time to trade this time of year, and the volume's not there. The volume's not always that present this time of year. But I want to know what you're trading at the moment. I've got a few nice positions at the moment. In fact, let's have a look. Might as well while we're here. Open up another tab. It's a day. Okay, right. These are my positions on the right side. Not all of them. These ones here I'm in, I believe. I like to organise it by percentage change. CoreWeave up 12%, Rocket Lab up 6%, Barber up 6%, Enphase up 6%, Lucid up 5%, PIMS up 3%, Grab barely up, Vidya barely up, Neo barely up as well. It was doing quite well earlier. It was up quite a lot earlier. Record deliveries for the month for Neo main brand, which is insane. Looking forward to seeing how this one performs in 2026. It's been a long time coming for any sort of decent year, apart from 2020. Yes, Snapchat doing okay. Nice bit of price action towards the end there. Zeta had a nice push out of the bull flag. Really nice to see. And with all of these, you can use. We are dropping into the close. You can use the Edgefield platform. So, for example, if I wanted to have a look at, I don't know, Snapchat, I'm assuming down here, you can go, and what you do is go to the watch list section. You can either go plus here, and it takes you there, or on the left side, you've got a kind of a tab section, which of course you've got get started, which is all your video walkthrough, which is recommended, of course. And then obviously when you go to the watch list here, you can just type in Snap, and then just tap the little plus icon here, and then what it does, it adds it down to the bottom right hand corner there for your watch list. Just as easily, you can just scroll into this right sidebar here and go ahead and just click the bin to get rid of Snap. I want to keep Snap, why not? And while we're here, we can jump into Snap's data. So we go to the Power Hour breakout report using the bookmarks. Get rid of that bar for now, and then come down to Snap. And you can actually see this is the last 6 months of data, but remember what I was saying about coming down with the sub report. Again, you can't see that, it's above my head. There we go. Sub report by weekday. And on Fridays, there's exactly a 16% chance that a new high of day is made and a new low of day is made in the last hour. So just to represent that to you, I go to Snap. Because I always seem to play with the bigger stocks, and that's because it's easier to do the demonstrations and kind of look around, and kind of what I trade mostly, I guess. I don't really trade the smaller names like this because of volume, and I want to be able to get in at a decent price. But there's no reason why you can't do it. But yeah, of course, we've got the price action kind of nowhere near the highs of the day or the lows of the day, so you wouldn't really get into this. But there's definitely money to be made on these stocks because they can move a lot quicker, especially within this time frame that we have, which is obviously the last hour of the market trading. But yeah, no, it's a very intuitive platform. You can really dive in and get some detail on that for sure. Let's go back here, shall we? So we might find some support here, we might not. Going into the close here, I feel like it might just drop a little bit, to be fair, given the market move we had in the last couple of trading days. It's been quite volatile. You can see it. These are the last two. That's today. This is the futures, by the way. This is why so many candles on the hourly chart. This is yesterday, so we had not yesterday, but the day before. So we've had a couple of volatile days for sure. Big drop earlier today. But for now, we'll jump back into the 5-minute chart, breaking that support there. Yeah. What was I looking at before that? Oh yeah, look at this one up here. Just rolling through my stocks. Is it down 2%? It's not very nice, is it? I mean, this is the daily chart on the screen now. It'll be just not what we want really for long-term holders. Did add to my position last night for a long-term position because I thought, okay, we'll use this moving average cloud as a bit of support, and obviously the volume profile was here. I was thinking, brilliant, let's go. This is great. Especially with the market open the way it was as well. It was quite promising, but these things happen. Price action is not done in a day; it's done, in a year or so. So we've been going well. People's top pick for 2026. Lots of reasons why. I'm not going to dive into that in this stream, but there's a video on my channel in which me and Kay break it down for you. So go ahead and check that out. It's at Sean Trades _ on YouTube if you're interested. And the other stock on that is Snapchat. So that's our picks for the year right there, ready for you to have a look at. There's the details. Shameless plug. Sorry about that. Happens. It happens. Tesla down 2.5%. Again, you just think technical analysis isn't everything, and that's okay. That's obviously part of trading. It's very frustrating when it doesn't pay off. But hey, I mean, the market's been going straight up for like 9 months, so drew a bit of a pullback. But this isn't really a pullback either. It's just a red day. It's not even a red day. I mean, look at the right side. It's fully green, pretty much. Just the bigger names that are coming down a bit. That's to be expected. Netflix down to 8.8%. I started the position here. I was very open about that in the last couple of streams. I'm looking for it to actually continue going down so I can add to it. 82, 85, that sort of area. But it was more of a precaution if it was to kind of push up from this area, because it's a good area of support. But I just prefer this area for support. And obviously, releasing plenty of content as always from from Netflix. And then lastly, we've got Path, UiPath. I'm struggling at this trend line, but still very much moving up in the right direction over time. I forget where my entry was. I think it's here, somewhere down here. Yeah, that makes sense because that's we tested that trend line. So 13-ish. We're currently sitting at 15, so the position is okay. I did take profits around this area, I think it was, on the day, just because of previous resistance, and obviously we're pushing through a trend line, so I was expecting a bit of a pullback. It did well to kind of move on up, but of course subsequently has dropped down after that. Oklo I'm also in, so I dragged that there. Did forget about that. Oklo I really like. You can see this from my previous Christmas charts. Get rid of that, shall we? I really like it because of the descending wedge. It's a very risky stock, of course. It moves like wildfire. But we have lots of price action at this level, between 70 and 75, probably 80 actually more. Well, not really, 78. 70 to 78. Lots of volume profile here on the right side. The only thing that's not going well for it is obviously the moving averages. They're all above, but that's not everything. But if we can get a clean break of this trend line, that could potentially be pretty good. We'll go back to the main chart. So we spoke about, obviously, with the Edgefield platform earlier. I think it was Alibaba. Yeah, so what we've had here is a really successful trade, which I didn't take. Well, not successful, but it's moving in the right direction. Which we didn't take, actually, which is a bit annoying, but that's okay. So I wanted to show you where I've got this target price from. So our target price is down here. We're probably not going to get that in the next 8 minutes, but obviously because it's a Friday, you don't really hold through the weekend, but you shouldn't really be holding overnight either. So my advice on this particular report and data and trade and management and execution, all those buzzwords, is to close the trade before the market close, because the data only goes up to the market close. Yeah, nothing else to really say there. SPY getting a bit of love at this level that we mentioned earlier. Not much love, but some. It's always a volatile time on the market close, but it's even worse when it's a weekend, going into a weekend as well. So careful if you're trading that. So going back to the Edgefield platform then, we'll have a little look around. So the screen is quite fun. Let's get the tab up there. You've got obviously all the tabs down here on the left side. If we tap on the screener, this comes up. It gives you kind of an overall daily bias. So the stocks that we've got listed here on the screen are not the stocks in the watch list, but you can customize them to whatever you want, which is obviously here. Oh, it's the gap fill report. Okay, right. They should link those two together. I might suggest that, because you can change basically what you are following. So if I took these off and just stuck with the main stocks, Mag 7, I mean, I keep Qs on there. Why not? Keep SPY, keep Tesla, And take off ES Mini. Thank you. RTY YM. And you can see just by looking at the screen, overall kind of bias on the day is obviously bearish for the stocks that we've chosen in this particular list. Which you can see here is what this is the stocks we have. And that makes sense because these SPY is flat actually, but I mean it's just the big stocks that are kind of down. And they're not that down. You can see on the screen here on the right, there's a few red ones. Yeah, it's funny. You'd think it'd be a bit more of a neutral day, but this platform has it down a bit more of a bearish day, which I actually understand because of the price action we've had. It's been very negative throughout the most of the day, apart from this push up. The market's behaving how I'm talking, all over the place. And then you can have obviously overall daily biases here on the screen. This is the tickers you've shown us, just mentioned, and kind of how the general feel is. And then you can just kind of have previews of the reports that you want to have a look at. So I can have power hour continuation here, and I can have power hour breakout here. Maybe I'll swap them around actually, so we can see the power hour breakout. You can see here on the screen, but the price, we've got the pre-power hour high of day there and pre-power hour low of day, and it tells you if it's broken or not. You can see a lot of this, well, everything says no, and that's because they're between the two lines. They're between the high of the day and between the low of the day. Between this line and this line, that is all that means. On different days, you will see breaks to the upside. Like for example, if Alibaba went the other direction and broke the high of day here, we would then have a look on the H4 platform and we would see, well, Barbara's not on here, but I'll have to switch these over to here at some point. There must be a way of doing that. I'm going to write that down. Yes, if Alibaba is on this list here, it would say high of day broken, yes, not no. That's clever, actually. I never noticed that before. But this is the high of day status and low of day status. This is how far it's got to go to the high of day. And you can see obviously the price and then what that is in terms of price action. So the ones are pretty close. Let's have a look at the chart. I mean, Nvidia is pretty close. It's actually less than $1 away. Yeah, so 0.27%, $0.27 near the low of day. So that's a potential target if you were going into the last hour, not going for 2 minutes towards the close. And there's 100% bearish. Guess we're getting a bit of a push down. That's not that bad. But yeah, that's been fun. With these walkthroughs, I think it's very, you've got the essential walkthrough here. You can tap on the slider, and then we've got the advanced walkthrough. The advanced walkthrough is still less than 2 hours. I recommend it watching a couple of times. I mean, just for clarification of what each thing is, and obviously how to kind of use the platform, how to join the Discord community. And there's lots of helpful things on this page. I mean, you can scroll through here, you can see what you've got on the screen here, why H4 is essential and how to adapt to changing markets. There's some really good videos here. And even the essential walkthrough, you can just go through and just watch these basic videos here. But as I say, the advanced walkthrough is still only 2 hours, or less than 2 hours. So it's definitely worth doing when you sign up. It doesn't take long at all. And then once you get into the reports and stuff like that, really quick, really easy to use. And you can kind of adapt it to your strategy and enhance your strategy. It's not really a strategy replacer, at least for me, at least. But you know, generally, yeah, it enhances my strategy. A bit of a push into a very good push into the close actually. With 20 seconds left. who knows? If we look at the daily chart for SPY, it's a broader market talk. Let's get rid of that. I don't know why that's there. 700 was not mine, but the end of year target. But yeah, we're still sitting pretty at the kind of 20 minute average and a lot of volume. So there's definitely support there to go higher. But yeah, we'll see. Well, thank you very much for watching. It's the end of the stream now. But if you've got any comments, like I said, make sure you put it in the sections below or message me on X, anything like that. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. But I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend. And I'll see you next week. Take care. Trade safe.